Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here today. We are going to talk all about how to format a blog post in WordPress. I know so many of you struggle with WordPress. I see it all the time, people sharing on Facebook, oh, I hate WordPress. It's so frustrating. I want to pull my eyeballs out. And I get it. If you don't really have an understanding of what you're doing in your blog, it can be really frustrating to deal with WordPress. So I want to take that frustration away so that you can start blogging and enjoy it maybe even a little bit. So what I'm going to do is walk you through the 8 different things that I do when I'm formatting a blog post and give you some quick tips and just help you to master this once and for all. So let's get started. This is your dashboard in WordPress. It looks just like this. You'll have this black menu bar on the left and your dashboard content is on the right. Now, when I am writing a blog post, the first thing I would tell you, point number 1, is to not write your content actually in WordPress. I want you to write your content elsewhere. You can do this in Word document, or I prefer to actually use Google Drive. That way my team can easily access the content if they need to. And the reason that I tell you to do this is because if you ever have a crash or a hack or anything and you have to restore your website to its latest update and you haven't updated it in between the time that you did all that hard work and put a blog post in, then you will lose that work if you don't have a backup after you update or after you put in every single blog post. And I don't update my site every time I put a blog post in. I updated it on it about every 2 weeks to a month. So there's definitely a chance that you could lose it if something were to happen to your site. So I write all my copy in Google Drive. I just put the post. I have like a folder of all of my blog posts. I can show you how I do it really quick, how I organize it. This helps me also to know what I have completed in my blog and what I still have to complete. So I have this blog folder and these are posts that I have written. So I've got 4 posts in here that I've written, pre-written. And this for me means that I have not put these into WordPress and formatted them. If I have formatted them, I have another folder within this blog folder called Posted, and that gives me all of my Drive documents that have been posted and are done, and this is just a backup copy of all of them to give me just peace of mind that they're all safe. So that's my quick tip for writing, so that way you can back up your content. So let's move on. Now what I want you to do is we're going to copy our let's go in order to what I'm writing on the blog post. Sorry, I don't want to skip around. Okay, next up we're going to choose, before we copy and paste, what I want you to do is choose a keyword for your blog post. So, keywords are important for SEO, and I don't want to get too deep into the SEO talk right now, but I do want to tell you about keywords. Keywords are what you use when you're searching on Google for any given topic. So if you were searching for how to format a blog post in WordPress, that is a keyword. A keyword could be literally one word, or it can be a lot of words. Multiple words in a keyword is called a long tail keyword, and long tail keywords actually perform better. So I would suggest that you do use a long tail keyword. So in this case, my keyword is going to be how to format a blog post in WordPress, or it could just be format a blog post in WordPress if I wanted to shorten that. And I don't want to get too deep into trying to teach you today how to choose and find your keywords. I'm going to do that at a future date. But it is important that your blog posts have keywords, and just starting with something is better than nothing. One thing I would really highly suggest is you download a plugin. It's called Yoast. It's a free plugin for WordPress. You can come here to your dashboard. You can go to plugins, add new, click on that. Here you can search plugins and you would just type in Yoast. And this Yoast SEO that pops up first, you would want to install that. Now, I already have Yoast installed. I actually use the pro version, but the free version will totally help you and get you started. But this is really going to help you get your blog optimized for SEO, especially if you do not understand SEO at all. It is like SEO for dummies. It is so helpful to make sure that your blog posts are optimized and they are ready for search engine optimization. And I will show you what it looks like on your WordPress Post Dashboard. So in this left-hand column, we're going to come up to here, where it says Posts. You can hit All Posts, or you could just click on this right here. Both will take you to the same place. Okay, so I'm going to actually format this exact blog post in WordPress while I'm talking to you, so that way you can see really the whole process. Now, I already have this drafted as a blog post. I use CoSchedule to schedule out my blog posts, and I can easily create ideas and put them on the calendar, which creates drafts in my post lineup. So this is why it's already a draft in here. So I'm going to click on that. If you didn't have it as a draft, you would just come up here and add new. Okay, so this is our WordPress Post Dashboard. You'll see it says Edit Post up here, and this button, Add New, is if you were going to add another one after this, so you don't ever have to click that really. This is where your title box is right here. Your permalink is here. This Add Media button, that is for you to add images or graphics, video, music, whatever you could dream up. This is your your tool dashboard, I guess we can call it. Let's call it our toolbar. We'll call it our post toolbar. This is where we format our posts. There's lots of different options here. You will automatically be in the visual side of your post editor. The text side is the HTML code side. So if you ever need to edit any of the snippets of HTML code from the body of text, you would switch over here. But most of the time you're going to work in visual, and that's totally fine. Now this is what I was just telling you about, your Yoast SEO plugin. Now I do use the Pro, so there might be a couple different things. I don't exactly remember what is extra on mine, but it will look very, very similar even if you use the free version. What is nice about this is that here where it says focus keyword, this is where you would put your keyword in for your blog post. So since I know what mine is, I'm just going to put it in now. How to format a blog post in WordPress. Okay, so once I start typing and writing, once I copy and paste my content in here, Yoast is going to start scoring all of my content, my images, everything about this post. And see these little red dots here that you got some red dots, some orange dots, some green dots. And this is like the color code that Yoast uses to score your post for SEO. Red means warning, you need to do something. Orange means, hey, this is something that we've caught. It's not going to make or break you, but if you want to deal with it, deal with it. And green means you're good to go. So this says you've never used this focus keyword before. Very good. You don't want to use the same keyword over and over and over, or you're going to start having your posts compete against each other in search engines. But you'll see there's no, this text contains 0 words. That's a problem. There's no meta description. Again, these are all things that I don't want to get too deep into, like meta description, but I do want to tell you how to do it. So quickly, while we're here in the Yoast plugin, to edit your meta description, all you do is click this edit snippet, and you put in like a sentence or two about what your blog post is about. And it's important that you use your keyword within your meta description. I'm going to actually do this after I put in all of my information, like all my copy and stuff, because it helps me to remember to go through and read my copy and make sure that my meta description makes sense. So I just wanted to show you where that was and how this Yoast plugin works. It's super easy. It's literally like a checklist. Yoast gives you exactly what you need to do to fix your post, and it makes it so much easier than trying to figure out all on your own. Okay, so let's scroll back up. Now that we have talked about choosing a keyword, which is super important, we can start formatting our blog post. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is format our titles. Now, you want to make sure that your keyword is definitely in your title. That's super important when you're writing a blog post. You don't want to just make up some random title to be cute. You definitely want your keyword in your title. So this is my exact title that I want over in Google Drive, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it in here. I'm going to fix these letters. So you can see how to format a blog post in WordPress is already in here. That's my keyword. And then for maximum results, that's just some extra fluff. We call it that. Actually, I use a tool called Titles by CoSchedule. It's their headline analyzer, and I've got another post coming next week where I'm going to share all of my tools that I use for blogging, but this is one of the tools that I use. It's called the headline analyzer, and it helps you determine the strength of your title for titles that compel people to click through. So when you're searching on Facebook or whatever, you know, there are certain titles that are going to make you compelled to click, and there are certain titles that you're like, that doesn't sound interesting to me. CoSchedule helps you analyze your titles. This is a free tool. It helps you analyze your titles so that you can make sure you're creating titles that people actually want to click on. So, but next week I will give you all the information for that tool. So I have my title put in, it's got my keyword in there, we are good to go. The next thing that we need to do is edit our permalink. Now a permalink is basically a fancy word for just a link that goes anywhere to a specific page or blog post within your website. So your domain is, like in my instance, it's meganmartin.net. That's my domain, that's my website domain address. A permalink within my website address would be meganmartin.net/about or meganmartin.net/whatever my blog post is. That is an example of what a permalink is. And you want to edit your permalinks, not your, don't do this for your past posts. I'm just talking about brand new posts here right now. We want to edit our permalink to have our to have our keyword. And I'm going to add, I think I had previously put this permalink in, so I'm going to fix it. Actually, you know what, let me, I'm going to make my keyword how to format a blog post, not how to format a blog post in WordPress, because I think I might have pre-linked this somewhere else. I'm gonna check, but I'm pretty sure I was like getting excited and already linking this somewhere else. So that's why I had it edited. But the way that you edit your permalink is it's right here. You'll never edit your domain. You're only going to edit what comes after the / and that's called your slug. Your slug is just where you're pointing your person to within your website. So if it was your about page, it would be / about. If it's this blog post, it's going to be / your keyword with dashes in between the words instead of spaces. So this is how - to - format - a - blog post or blog - post. And that's my permalink. In order to save it, you just hit OK, and that would save your edited permalink, and you're good to go. Now we have optimized our title for SEO with our keyword, and we've also optimized our permalink with our keyword for SEO. So we are on the road to doing it right. So now that we've edited our title and edited our permalink, it's time to copy and paste our content within the blog post. So I'm going to come over to my Google Drive document, and I'm going to hit Control A, select all. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to paste it. I just hit Control V on my PC to paste it. One quick note, if you do use a program like Word Document, you might find yourself having some issues with the way that it formats the content, like when you go to preview your posts. Let me show you right here. This is the preview button. At any time while you're drafting a post, you can preview it on your website. If you were to do this in Word Document and just paste it straight in, you could potentially run into a formatting problem here when you're looking at your post live. Sometimes it actually pulls whatever formatting you used in WordPress, and your website just will look funny. So in order to deal with that problem, if you're using some program that the formatting is not carrying over correctly into WordPress, all you would do is before you pasted all your content, you would hit this button right here. It looks like a clipboard with a T, and this is your paste as text tool. Basically what this does is it's going to remove any formatting that you're about to put into your WordPress from any program and then you would hit Control V or paste or however you want to do it if you're a Mac user, and then it would just input the text that you're about to paste in without any formatting coming from another program. For me, Google Drive doesn't give me an issue. This is exactly the way my blog posts are supposed to look. So I don't use paste as text, but that is just a quick tip if you need to fix any formatting issues when you copy paste. So let's move on. Okay, so now we want to talk about how to actually take this text, let me X out of here, how to actually take this text and format it so that it's optimized for both readability, so that it's an easy experience for your readers to go through, and also formatting also helps for SEO. So I'm going to teach you a couple more things just to help you on that front. First of all, you want to know that right now all of the text that you see is in paragraph form. It's just written in paragraph form. Perfect. And that's how it's formatted in your blog post. But one thing that I will teach you is that for SEO, it's really good to format your post and break up the text by using headers and even starting to use lists or bold, or just to kind of make the experience a little bit nicer for your readers than having, right now this post I'm pretty sure is over 3,000 words. If I just had 3,000 words that looks like this, it would probably start to feel like when you're listening to someone talk and they have the most monotone voice and it's just, you're like, oh, I need some entertainment. That's kind of what headers and adding a little bit of formatting like bolds and links and all that stuff helps do. So that's why we're going to make sure our blog post is formatted correctly, even in terms of the way it looks here. So one thing you'll see as I go through, I'm going to literally go through this post right now and start showing you where I have headers. I actually write in my headers in Google Drive, and then when I come in here, I just highlight them and make them the way that they're supposed to look. So it's really easy to do this. Let's start. Okay. Uh-oh, my alarm's going off. Okay, sorry. Okay, so here is my first header. It's my best practice for writing WordPress blog posts. So we talked about writing in Google Drive. That's what this is about. Now, what I'm going to do to change this from a paragraph form to a header is come up here to this drop down in my toolbar, and I'm going to hit whichever header I want it to be. I want this to be header 2. Perfect. So now it looks giant here. You can't really tell what's going on, but if you were to hit preview, it's going to reload this over here. And now you can see that this right here, it says my best practice for writing WordPress blog posts, is now actually a formatted header. And WordPress pulls the styling for your headers actually within the coding of the theme, whatever theme that you're using. If you had a custom site made, then hopefully your designer pre-coded in what your headers should look like. And that's why you might want to play around with what header you use. I just happen to know that I like header 2 and header 3 specifically for my posts, so those are the ones that I use the most. So that is just a quick tip for you to show you what happens when you change the formatting from paragraph to a header. And you can see here that it just breaks up that paragraph look really nicely and kind of calls to your attention, okay, this is an important thing that I want you to read, and makes it organized for you to read. So I just kind of go through my post since I've already written it, and I continue this. You'll see you see all these red lines. I use another free tool called Grammarly. I'm terrible at spelling and grammar, y'all. Terrible. And Grammarly helps just correct any issues that I made. Some of them I purposely am spelling wrong, like hard with 10 R's. But Grammarly is awesome to help you just be an extra editor for your blog post so that you're not putting out a million typos like I tend to. So here's another header right here, choosing a keyword for your blog post. So I'm going to highlight that, come up here and choose header 2. Now, done. That's what I do. I go through my posts and I find all the headers that I have and I optimize them right then and there. Quickly to show you, just in case you don't know how to create a link within your WordPress blog post, you highlight whatever is supposed to be a link. This related how to protect your blog from a hacker is supposed to be linking you from this post to one of my old blog posts. And so what I need to do is go get that link, and then I need to link it in. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to search my blog posts. Cool. So this is one of my old blog posts that I'm going to try to point you to. I'm explaining why I think it's important you write your post in Google Drive, and then I'm going to point you to this old blog post that talks exactly about this whole entire issue that I had when my website was hacked for the first time, and it really wasn't fun. So I don't want that to happen to you. So what I just did is I highlighted the text. I came up here to my toolbar and clicked this insert edit link, and this little link box popped up. So I'm going to Control V, paste my link in here. And before I hit apply, I'm going to go to link options and open link in a new tab. I choose to do that for both my inbound and my outbound links because if you were to click on this right now and it were to take you to this old blog post, it would kind of be annoying to come back and try to find this new blog post that I wrote if you still wanted to read it. So for me, if I just push it to a new tab for you, then you can have that blog post open to read later or to quickly read now, and then you can quickly come back to this other blog post that you came here for. So it's just a matter of preference how you do it. I would suggest if you are linking to anybody else's website and not your own, you absolutely want to link that in a new tab, because that is totally taking somebody away from your website, and you don't want that. You want people to stay and explore and see what you have to offer. So as a rule of thumb, it's just easier for me to make sure every time I make a link and open in a new tab one. So that's how you create links. If you were to want to make any of these spots of text bold or italic or whatever, you can do all of that in your toolbar up here. This is the bold, the italic. This creates a bullet list, numbered list. You can create a block quote. I don't use this very often, but you can totally do that. This is how you align your text. You probably won't ever use some of these. I don't ever use a lot of these. These are increase or decrease indent. Sometimes I use those if I want to break up some points of text. Clear formatting. So say if you were to paste something in and it had some crazy formatting, that's another way that you can deal with that. You could highlight it and clear the formatting. You could change your text color if you want to. You can add a horizontal line here within your post. So sometimes, for example, if somebody writes a guest post and I want to write an introduction to that post, like, hey, this is, my bestie and she's got some awesome advice to share. A great way that I can break up that my introduction versus someone else's content is to add a horizontal line. So anytime that it's like a weird transition and it's just easier to just have a clean break, I'll put a horizontal line in. This is the strike through. So if you write a word and then you want to strike through it, I feel like it's kind of, I only use strike throughs when I'm joking about something. So if I write a word and then I strike through it because really that's not what I'm meaning to say, I don't know why you would use it elsewise. But those are just your tools that you can use to format your blog post. So I'm actually not going to go through right this second and format all the titles, all the stuff, because this is a 3,000 word blog post and that would take way too long for you. What I'm going to do is just keep going as if I had already done all of the work formatting. Okay. So I taught you how to input your written content, and I taught you how to format the content with headers. So now let's talk about putting images in. Images are super, super important to your blog posts. You probably know that. But what you don't know, what you might not know, is that images also can be really, really helpful for your search engine optimization. So I want to make sure that you are putting in your images and optimizing them to make sure that search engines can also pull your content through your images. And it's so, so easy, you guys. It's 2 quick steps, 2 quick extra steps than you're probably already taking, and it will totally help boost your SEO. So let's do it. One thing that I will tell you that I've already done, I have a wealth of images. I was a wedding planner for 5 years, and in that time period, I got tons and tons of images. I've also done a lot of brand shoots in my days as a business owner, so I have all of these images from past weddings and events and style shoots, and I have all these images from my brand shoots that I've done, and I've also taken my own images. So I have a huge library of images. And one thing I've done to make my life so much easier is already batch resized a ton of images. You want to make sure that your images are at something called 72 dpi. That's basically saying web use. An image pulled straight out of a camera is typically 300 dpi so that you can print it. It's all about whether it's print or web use. So your images always need to be 72 dpi, and they need to be sized appropriately for your blog. So if your blog, let me show you I can show you how to do this really quick. If your blog is, you can see right here, like this is what I'm talking about, my single post. This is the width of my blog right here, right? If you don't know what that is, you can easily hover over your first paragraph, right click, hit inspect, and you can see up there in that corner, let me do it again so you can see, 780 times 100. That's the width of my blog. So in order for me to optimize my images in the size that they need to be double the size of the width of my single post template. So in that case, my single post template for my blog is 780. So it needs to be, my images need to be 1,560 pixels wide. The length doesn't matter in this case. It's all about the width. And that just ensures that all of my images are ready to go for Retina ready devices. So like all of your iPhones, all of your modern phones, tablets, all that stuff, they use what's called Retina. They just have this, I'm not going to get into all of it, but basically if you double the size of your images, it ensures that your images will not be blurry on those Retina devices. That's all you need to know. And so what I have done is one day I took an hour or so, I went through all of my portfolio of images and I resized hundreds of them. I'm not kidding. I have 540 resized images in one folder. They're all at 72 dpi, so they're perfect for web use. They're not going to slow my website down. And they're also all sized at 1,560 pixels wide. That way they will be perfectly ready for Retina devices. So now anytime I write a blog post, I can easily come into this folder of 540 images that are already ready to go for my blog and just pick one that resonates with the content that I'm using. So I'm not going to try to take forever to choose an image because I haven't thought about this yet for this post, but I'm going to quickly find an image in here that I think could work. I've done this for all of my portfolio images, all of my stock images. You guys know that I use SC Stock Shop for all of my stock images, and so I've done that here for her stuff as well. It's been such a huge time saver for me to have these images already done and resized. Let's see. Let's pick one that we like. It really doesn't matter right now. Here we go. We'll just pick this one for right now. This one, I'm writing about blog posts, so having a computer in it makes sense, right? So this is not actually my insert. This was me showing you that I have a file of 540 images. So in order to actually add an image in your WordPress blog post, you would put your cursor where you want it to be, where you want your image to be, and you're going to come up here and click Add Media. When you get to this Add Media, you're gonna be brought to this Media Library tab, and this is all of the images, graphics, all the things that you've ever put into your website. It includes your logo, all that kind of stuff. But I want to add new images for this blog post, so I'm going to go over here to Upload Files, and then I'm just going to follow the prompts to upload whatever photo I want. I'm going to come up here to my giant folder of resized images, and I'm going to pick that image that I had chosen. Here it is, and I'm going to open it. So that is the first thing you need to know about images for SEO. They need to be sized correctly. If you have some giant sized images, or you're using print ready images at 300 dpi, your website is going to slow down substantially, and it's going to affect your SEO. But really quickly, what I want to show you, once you have them sized appropriately and you load one in, you're going to edit two areas of text. You're going to edit the title, and you're going to edit the alt text. Right now, the title of my image is Megan Martin Creative, lots of numbers. That is not good for SEO. What you want to do is actually make this your drumroll keyword. So how to format a blog post. That is going to be the title of my image. And so that way, when you're Googling and you need help formatting a blog post and say you click over to images, guess whose image is going to pop up in that feed? Mine. So it's going to help you point to my posts from different avenues within search engines. So that's super helpful. If you were to put more than one image in here, no fear. You would just start with how to format a blog post and then put a -1 or a -2, -3 and go as many images as you have in the post. So that's for the title. You're going to title your images to be your keyword, and then if you have more than one, just put a dash and a number at the end of it to signal that these are all images that are going with this post. The next thing you want to do is edit the alt text. The alt text is sort of like a meta description. It tells Google what this post is about, why this image is in here, and how this image correlates to your blog post. So it is important that your keyword is in your alt text. So I'm going to put how to format a blog post in WordPress, and I'm going to put on Megan Martin Creative. So that the reason why I chose what I did is, number one, my keyword is how to format a blog post. I put in WordPress here because that is totally something that somebody could search for as WordPress blog post. And then I also put on Megan Martin Creative because when people search Megan Martin Creative in Google, this is a post that can pop up. So those are all different keywords within your alt text. Another thing you can do is continue to add more description in your alt text to your images. So I could put blogger, blogging, I could put just whatever else we want to put. How to optimize your post for SEO. So I could put more descriptive phrases and keywords within the alt text. And the reason why I would do that is because when you are on a blog and you pin an image from any given image from a blog post, Pinterest automatically populates the alt text as the description for your pin. Now you could edit that description if you wanted to, but a lot of people just really want to save a blog post to their Pinterest board. Now I want to make sure that when somebody saves a pin to their Pinterest board, that they're actually using terms that people would search for. So that way it helps gain more exposure for my post when somebody pins it. So I add in even more keywords and phrases that describe what the post is about. So that way, if it is pinned to Pinterest and someone say searches how to optimize my post for SEO, then my pin is going to rank in that collection of pins that pop up. Does that make sense? So you could leave it at just the alt text with your keyword and whatever other keywords you want, or you can take this extra step that I do to make sure your post is ready for Pinterest pinning, which is huge for bloggers. Quick pro tip, you don't want every single alt text of your images to be the same. Now your title can be the same with your keyword and dash form and then a number, but your alt text does need to be different. So you don't want it to say how to format a blog post in every single alt text. You want to add some more. This is the other reason why you would do this extra keywords and descriptions within your alt text, is to kind of change up what that alt text is so it's not all the exact same, because at this point now we're telling Google that all our images need to compete against each other for the same exact blog post, and we don't want that. So it is a good practice to go ahead and just put some other keywords in there or descriptive phrases that explain what your post is about to make sure that your alt text is not all the exact same. Another quick tip about alt text is you don't want to keyword stuff your alt text. Now, keyword stuffing is like if I were to say how to blog in WordPress, and then I would say comma blog WordPress, then I would say comma how to blog. Those you can see it's called keyword stuffing because a lot of those are the exact same. I used blog over and over and over, or I used how to blog over and over. So that's called keyword stuffing, when you just literally start repeating the same exact keyword over and over. And you don't want to do that. You want to try to make sure that the description that you're creating is not just like blogging, blog, blogger, blogging, how to blog, how to... Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you want to kind of change it up, like adding this how to optimize your post for SEO is totally different than how to format a blog post in WordPress. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to stuff keywords within your alt text. You just want it to be natural and explain what it is and who it's for here. Once you've edited your title and you've edited your alt text, you want to make sure, as long as your image is sized correctly in width, it doesn't matter what the alignment is, it will align correctly. Unless you are linking your image to somewhere, you can have link to none, and I would always suggest that you use the full size. Again, that way it is ready for those Retina devices, and then you can just insert into post, and boom, here it is. So this is an image that's in my post and ready to go and optimized for SEO. And it's just a really, really important and quick thing that you can do. It took me a little bit longer to explain it to you, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it really quickly. One more thing I'll tell you is in your ad media, say if you want to upload, say if you're using like 5 images in one blog post, I would suggest you upload all 5 images, come in here, edit all of the titles and all of the alt text at one time, just so your brain is on it and you know. You can easily like differentiate these alt texts because you know what you just wrote. It makes it so much easier, and then you can select all 5 if they're all going in the same spot, or you can just select one at a time and add them in where you want them to go. And once you add the title and add the alt text in that pop-up, it automatically will save it for you. So when you go to input one of your images somewhere else, and you were to do the same thing, add image or add media, it would automatically have the title and alt text that you previously attached to it. So that makes it a little bit easier and gives you just a way to batch put in all of the images that you're going to use for any given post. Okay, so that's how you format your images. So let's move on. Let's talk about how to, a few more tips on how to optimize this post for SEO. We've talked about choosing a keyword for your blog post. We've talked about putting that keyword in the title and in the permalink. We've talked about putting that keyword in your image titles, using it in dash form. And then if you have more than one image for your post, you just put a number at the end of that. And we've also talked about editing your image alt text descriptions to include your keyword. And one other quick thing, when we talked about headers, often if you can find a way to put your keyword even in your headers, that's another way to boost your post for SEO. Sometimes it's not 100% natural, like in this post, it just wasn't natural for me to put my keyword in every single header. So I didn't do that because for me, SEO is important, but my reader's experience is even more important. So as long as I can hit a good portion of my SEO boosting tips, then I leave it at that. I'm not going to go crazy on SEO here. If it doesn't make sense and it literally just would make the reading experience just awkward and weird, I just skip that step. And so for this one, I did not include my keywords in my actual headers. But if you could naturally do that, that's a really good tip to help boost your SEO. A few more things that you can do to help optimize your site for SEO is to, number one, include your keyword in your first paragraph. And you should absolutely do this. This will actually help you rank in a search engine to include that keyword within your first paragraph. So you'll see here, because I'm here today to show you exactly how to format a blog post in WordPress from start to finish for maximum results. Sometimes it feels a little weird to write with keywords in your writing because it's not normal conversation to like plug a keyword in, but it is absolutely important that you do find a way to fit it in your first paragraph. And it's okay if it doesn't perfectly make sense, but you definitely want it in there. Just try to make it fit as naturally as you can. You can also include your keyword in again, natural spaces throughout the body of your text. The more times that you can get your keyword in your body of text, the better you will do with ranking for that keyword. When someone goes to search how to format a blog post in WordPress, you want to continue to point Google throughout your post to show, hey, this really is about this, and that way Google knows you're writing really quality content. So if you can find a way to just get that keyword in multiple places within the body of your text, that is another good tip for using your keywords. Lastly, when it comes to SEO, you want to do what we talked about, those inbound or outbound links. So inbound links, again, are links that are linking to other spaces in your website. It continues the journey for people. So you want people to stay on your website. You want people to click through to different pages and different blog posts and take time and explore. That affects your SEO. Not only is it good for them and you, but it also affects your SEO. So definitely put inbound links within your text. Find ways to do that. I use that, where's that link that I showed you before? Okay, I use this format where I say related, here's another blog post that you can go find. And that's because, if I'm telling you about something, I don't want to have to re-explain myself over and over and over again. I just want to point you to an old blog post where you can go read exactly where I showed you about that topic. And that, again, continues the journey and might make you want to click over to somewhere else and then read that blog post. Another way people do it are they have that plugin where you can see some old related blog posts, but I don't use that anymore because I've found some research that those plugins slow your website down. And also, I find that once I've read, if I'm reading a blog post like this, that's 3,000 words, if I get all the way down to the bottom, I might forget that I wanted to read a blog post about hacking, or I might forget that I wanted to read a blog post about SEO or whatever it is. But if I put it in the moment here, then you might be more compelled to click on it at that time because you just read something that spurred your mind into wanting to learn about that. So that's just the reason I do it this way. It's totally up to you how you decide to do that, but you definitely do want inbound links within your actual copy of your text, your blog post text, and not just that plugin that you can put in the bottom for related posts. So find a way to do that. If that means pointing to your about page or a certain page in your website or another blog post, you can do that. You can also just do it within a paragraph. So say, okay, so right here I talk about just in case an emergency happens, you can't save one of your posts. I think I talked about a hack somewhere. Okay, here it is. Up here I talk about when my website got hacked for the first time. I could easily just click that and highlight that and use that little phrase, website got hacked for the first time, and link that blog post there. But I have found that putting this related and then the post performs better in terms of clicking through to old blog posts than these in paragraph links. But again, it's totally a personal preference, whatever you like. So that's the first tip. The second tip The first tip is inbound links. The second tip that you want to do is include outbound links in your post. So it's good practice to also point content to other people's websites. And an easy way that I can do that is, since I'm not a professional photographer, I've hired tons of photographers in my day. And so I can easily say, hey, this post was by Sarah Dippity Photos, or this photo was this photo was by Sarah Dippity Photos. So I'll come in here and I'll say photography by Sarah Dippity Photos. And then I can easily highlight that Sarah Dippity Photos, go find her website, copy and paste her domain address and link it in here, and make sure to hit open in a new tab for that. And that's a quick way to put an outbound link in that makes sense for me. Now, if you are a photographer, maybe you credit someone that's in your photo. If you've got like a product or somebody else styled it, or there's flowers or whatever the case may be, that's an easy way that you can get outbound links in. Sometimes sometimes if I have a blog post and there's like 5 images all by Sarah Dippity Photos, I'm not going to add it every single time underneath. I'm just going to add it at the end of my post, and I'll say photography by Sarah Dippity Photos all the way at the end of my post, but it's still an outbound link. So it doesn't matter where in the copy it is. It's just a good practice to get some outbound links in your post. So those are just a few SEO tips to help boost your post for search engine optimization. Okay, last thing for SEO, and we touched on it in the beginning, is editing that meta description. Once you've gotten all your content in here, you know what you're talking about, you can easily come in here and edit your meta description back in this Yoast SEO plugin. If you don't use Yoast, I still believe that there will be a box underneath where your copy goes. So somewhere down here in your WordPress dashboard, you should be able to edit your meta description. I've been using Yoast for so long that I don't even remember what it looked like, but I'm pretty sure it's just it should automatically be in your blog post to be able to edit your meta description. But I'm telling you, Yoast will just help you so much. So I'm going to edit this meta description here. And another reason I love Yoast is this grading system. So you'll see right here, there's a bar underneath where I'm about to write my meta description. And if my bar is orange, it means I need to make my meta description longer, because your meta description should be a certain amount of characters. If it turns green, that means I'm good to go. My meta description is the right length. And if it turns red, then it means I've written a way too long meta description. So this helps me. I don't have time to sit here and count how many characters I'm typing. So this is such an easy tool to help me make sure my meta descriptions are formatted properly for search engines. So okay, I'm going to put how to format a blog post in WordPress from start to finish to maximize your blog for SEO exposure. I'm literally making this up right now. So just bear with me for a second. So you can see the orange bar right here. It's saying, okay, you're getting there. Once it turns green, then I know I'm good to go and I can stop making stuff up. For SEO exposure and cool. So now you can see, Grammarly is telling me I spelled something wrong on my meta description. Now you can see that the bar is green, so I have done good. I have created a meta description. It's got my blog post keyword, how to format a blog post. It's also got, other keywords in here like SEO, click-through rates, WordPress. These are other words that could probably be searched in the context of how to format a blog post. So this is a great meta description. I know Yoast is telling me it's good to go. If this were a red bar, it would mean, hey, this is way too long, shorten it. All I have to do is click close snippet editor and my meta description. Now this is exactly how it will look in Google. So you'll see if you were to search how to format a blog post in Google, you'll see this is my title, this is my permalink, and this is my meta description. They all include keywords, so this is perfectly optimized for SEO. You could quickly come down here and see Yoast and see your grades. I only have one red dot, so I know that if I were to save this as a draft right now, that my SEO score would actually be good. But if all of these dots were red and orange, you'd probably want to go through this list and update it. And all of the tips that I just told you about SEO come from this list. So Yoast is telling me right here my keyword density is too low. It was only found 5 times within my post. So if I could find a way to add that keyword in naturally a couple more times, it might help my SEO. But I might not do that. It just depends on the post and how it's reading. And I care more about my reader experience than having a keyword in my post 100 times. So since I know that this post is already doing really well in the score, I'm probably not going to add it in more times. This says my slug contains stop words. Consider removing them. A stop word is like to and a. Those are stop words. Again, that's something that I choose to not change. You can change it if you want to. I haven't used the focus keyword in any subheadings such as H2 when I taught you about headers, and one of the tips was to add your keyword into a header. That's good for SEO, but again, for me, it wasn't a natural thing, so in this case, I'm not going to do that. But you can change it if you want to. And then it says the SEO title is wider than the viewable limit. So talking about how to format a blog post in WordPress for maximum results, that's pretty long in terms of a title, but I want that to help me with click-through rates. So I'm not going to take Yoast's advice on that. But everything else you can see I've done a really good job at, because I have all these green dots that tell me, hey, you're good to go. So what I'm going to show you where it shows you what your SEO score is, up here on the right hand side of your post dashboard, you'll see publish, and you'll see 2 little lines of text that talk about SEO. It says readability is okay and SEO is not available. But once I go to hit save draft, let me hit that. That SEO score is going to repopulate. And you can see now my SEO is good. That means that I have done the work to make sure that my blog post is ready and optimized for search engines. If it said okay, or I don't remember what the red word is, but it also updates this color. So you can see green means good, orange means okay, red means you need to work on this. It's a really easy scoring platform or way to score your post. Now, readability, I will quickly tell you to not stress too much about readability. I don't know who determines what is better in terms of readability over somebody else. But I would say just try to keep your paragraphs short and sweet. Add those headers. Once I add more headers in here, my readability score will go up because that's breaking up the text. But seriously, a lot of my posts are even in the red for readability, so I wouldn't stress about it too much. Okay, next up in formatting your post, we're almost done, I promise, is we're gonna choose our category, we're gonna edit our tags, and choose a featured image, and then we're gonna be done. Promise. I promise that this goes super fast. Okay, So next thing you need to know to format your blog post is you need to choose a category that it should go in. This uncategorized that you'll see here, it automatically comes with your WordPress template. You don't want your post to be uncategorized. I mean, I guess if you change the name of this to be like other whatever, I don't know. I think that you should choose a category. What I want to explain to you is that you don't want to choose more than one category. This is a mistake that a lot of people make, thinking, oh, well, this post, it has to do with branding, but it's also for business, and, you know, whatever. Oh, it's marketing too. It has to do with all of those, so I should put them in all of those categories, right? Well, I would say wrong. The reason why you don't want your post to be in more than one category is basically when you create a category and say you click on, say a reader clicks on that category, they click on the category of branding, that basically creates an entire new blog feed for those blog posts, meaning that that branding category is all of my blog posts that are tagged with branding. Now, if I also tagged it in business and you went to the business category and read all of those blog posts over there, it's creating what's basically called copies of your posts in multiple places on your website. And that is a no-no because, again, we don't want Google or other search engines to think that our blog posts should be competing against each other. If you have content copied in more than one place around your website, Google is going to start thinking that your posts are supposed to be competing against each other. And we don't want our work to work against each other, right? There are some people who say it's okay to do this. As a rule of thumb, I would just pick one category to keep yourself safe and make sure that your website is fully optimized for SEO. So in this case, for me, I'm going to remove branding and business, and I'm going to create this as a marketing post for me. So just make sure you only choose one category. You really don't need it to be in more than one category. What you can do, though, is add as many tags as you want. Tags, they have a similar concept of creating an index within your site. So a category kind of breaks up your site within high-level topics. And tags you can use to really break down and create indexes for more niche topics within your website, but they don't count against you in terms of SEO, and Google doesn't penalize you if you have, say, more than one blog post with the same tag. So that's where it's okay to start getting more niche with your descriptions. So I might put WordPress here. You can separate your tags with commas. I might put blogging. I might put blogging tips. And also, your tagging, remember how we talked about keyword stuffing within images? It's not the same here for tags. You can put as many tags as you want. I probably would say about 10 or less. You don't need like 100 tags in here. The goal is if somebody were to search, let me go to my website and show you. If somebody were to search here for one of my keywords, so say if I put WordPress in, then all the posts that have that tag with the tag WordPress would populate in that search. So that's what tagging does. Just use words that are natural and make sense. A lot of people will use certain brands, if you have a specific brand within your post, that might make sense, or a specific business, company, whatever. Those are some other ideas of tags that you could use. In this case, I'm using WordPress as one of my tags. So you just hit add, and then your tags will be there. And you can see here in my blog post, well, let me hit preview again. Oh, it didn't update that. Hold on. Let me hit save draft. And then I'll hit preview. And now hopefully it's updated. Here we go. So now you can see my category, and my tags are right here. Now, where yours are located is just going to be dependent on how your theme is set up, but that shows you how the categories and tags work. So choose one category, and you can choose really as many tags as you want. The last thing you're going to do to format your blog post is to set a featured image. Now, this is important because if you were to, say, share this blog post on Facebook, you know, when you see a post and it has no image attached to it, it's just the link, that's because that person didn't choose a featured image. So if you want an image to be associated with your post, especially when shared to Facebook, then you should put a featured image to it. It's just what you need to do. So in order to do that, all we do is set featured image, and you're going to choose one of the images that you just uploaded so that it has the correct title and alt text. You don't have to edit that. You're literally just picking one of the images that's within your blog post to be a featured image. And you hit select or insert the featured image, and now we have an image that's associated with this blog post. So it will automatically populate when you are in some sort of sharing platform like Facebook. Quickly, if you do this and your image still isn't pulling up to Facebook, you might need to do what's called debugging within Facebook. It's a tool that you can use. You can literally just Google debug in Facebook, and I also have it linked within the copy of this blog post for you. But there could be a quick, you might need to do that quick little debug with Facebook if your images are not pulling up when you're still going to share your posts. Okay, woo, that was a ton of talking, and I know that this one was a little bit longer of a tutorial video, but this is literally how to format your blog post from start to finish, and I hope that this will help you to just kick those WordPress woes to the curb so that you can start blogging confidently and know that your blog posts are optimized for SEO, optimized for exposure, and going to work for you long after you do all this work. So thank you for staying with me this whole time. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see what you create in your next blog post.